And we're back, and you're watching South Texas Now with attorney and nurse practitioner Joe Flores. And I am proud to bring back our very special guest. Many of you all know him here in South Texas, and you know what he's done, how he's served his country a quarter century, how he has served our community in Washington and now locally as Judge Joe Benavides. Welcome, Judge.
Thank you. Welcome.
Judge, whatever you're comfortable with, but I need to ask these questions. And I don't think that a lot of journalists have covered this. And I think that it identifies and it recognizes veterans, which I want to do. But in a way, in a lens, the optics is that it's coming from a true veteran, a true leader, someone that was in charge of hundreds of Marines in a combat setting. So let's go back. You had said before the break, you joined because you wanted to learn how to defend yourself. There were some, a lot of people say, I wanted to serve my country, but it blew me away that, yes, you wanted to serve your country, but you also had some selfish, in a good way, desires to be able to defend yourself. And why was that?
Well, as a young kid, Joe, I was bullied. So I understand where all these kids are coming from. I was bullied because of the clothes I was wearing. I didn't have the clothes that other kids had, or the way I talked, the way I looked. Many things that kids hone into about bullying another individual. So I understand that. But most importantly, yes, maybe I did at that one time think about serving my country, but most important was that I needed some reasons to join that Marine Corps, and that only thing that made me think to join the Marine Corps was to defend myself, to get an education, knowing that I was like, you would think, the handicap on trying to get an education. I would think that was the least thing I would probably think of. But in my mind, knowing that my parents could not afford college, that I would also have, while serving in the Marine Corps, that the military would pay my education. So I hold 3 college degrees, a business administration, business management, and human resources. So I accomplished that. I also accomplished a career in my life that I would probably never, ever have, because I knew my capabilities, and they weren't very high. But I do believe not only did my parents instill in me a will to not to give up, but the Marine Corps instilled in me never, ever to give up.
So we had great parents, a horrible environment of violence, of gangs, and the safe place that gave you succor or protection, and also brotherhood, a sense of dignity and education, was the Marine Corps.
Absolutely. Joe, when I joined the Marine Corps, it wasn't easy. It took me 7 times to pass the ASVAB. And finally, when I did pass the ASVAB, I joined the Corps. Now, to join or get enrolled into a college in California, Maricosta Community College, a community college in California, it took me approximately 5, 6, 7 times to pass the entrance exam. But I never gave up. That was always instilled in me, never give up. And I never did. But I knew a young counselor came up to me and told me, what you should do is take an adult, 2 years of a non-accredited adult class, which I did, and to learn all the basics all over again. So I did that for 2 years, and now understood very well that I could accomplish to get my college degrees, and that's what I did.
I've known you more so than many other people. I never knew that story. And I've always seen you as an extremely intelligent man. And I know that for a fact. And my father was 8th grade education, and everybody thought that he told me. Everybody thought I was a dummy because I was an 8th grade guy. But little did they know he graduated number 1 in his class at La Gloria down south, and he ran a farm, and then he got his GED, and he got his college degree in his 40s, and as did my mother. And they said the same thing you did. They failed, they got it back up, they achieved their goal, and they never gave up by sheer will. So do you think that going back, it's basically like you got an education again those 2 years? Everything you missed out on in school, being bullied, all the distractions, and you got that education. Then what happened?
Then I started thinking, I'm going to continue on to stay in the Marine Corps, which I did. And my total Marine Corps service has been a little over 21 years. And after that, I remember my dad telling me when I retired, he says, you are a prime example of a person, a public servant, that should be in office and try to help out our people within our community. And he says they need a lot of help. They need good mentors. They need good leadership. And my dad looked at me while we sat there at Whataburger, and he told me, you need to run for office. And he got into my head that I am that person that could probably make an impact in my community, because I saw a lot of these young kids not going to school. I very much focused on the senior citizens, the veterans, and our young kids in our community. And that's the only reason I ran for office, from the heart, thinking I'm going to make a change. But I did not know the bureaucracy in the system. Mm-hmm. But I continued to say to myself, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make a change, assist those senior citizens, assist those veterans that are coming from the Middle East, and also our kids here in the local community.
As a Marine, as a Latino and a Marine, was it difficult? Is there racism in the armed forces? Absolutely.
There is. And it's pretty much, I wouldn't say covered up, but there is. And I saw it. I applied for the officers program in the Marine Corps. I was denied twice. And what I saw was it hurt me a lot. And it was a lot of discriminatory things that occurred in the Marine Corps, but you really couldn't say much, because the Corps, don't get me wrong, is a great organization of great leaders. But back in those days, there was. And people, that say there was not, that's their personal opinion. But what I picked up was, yes, there is.
So in other words, that's not accurate. There was, and violence. I remember you told me the drill instructors could strike the Marines, just like in the movie by Stanley Kubrick of Full Metal Jacket.
Yes.
That was really the way that they trained you.
That is the way I saw boot camp, and that's the way it was. So it was a lot of physical and mental instructions. But it is what it is, and now it's much better. I think they've corrected that. But I remember that in the Marine Corps as Full Metal Jacket, pretty similar to what I went through in boot camp.
Like with Sergeant Harden, would it be drill instructor?
Drill instructor.
Yes.
Gunnery sergeant.
Yes, and you were a gunnery sergeant,
yes.
And so you were in charge of a lot of young men's lives.
In Camp Pendleton.
I remember even telling me that in the desert, just to go to the bathroom, you had to have guards because they see your stripes and they want to blow your head off.
Yes, well, it was unique to me that when I did have to, which was once in a while.
TMI.
And you had to have, a couple of Marines around you while you're...
I'd like a circle of Marines, honestly.
It only took two, but yes.
Okay, and I don't want to focus too much in on that. I just want people to know that what veterans go through. Can you just, a lot of people say, thank you for serving. I've had veterans say, I'm sick of hearing that. Thanks for serving. I'm just glad when I was out there, my squad and I survived. And those that didn't, it hurts. And so what goes through a veteran's mind when you're in combat and all of that? I mean, are you thinking it's just survival? So I mean, what are you thinking under fire?
Well, when I was with my platoon in Kuwait, the Al-Wafa Force, man-made force out in Kuwait, and 500-pound bombs are just hitting the earth. We really, as a group, as a platoon, so much admitted so much in our life, and really, we were trained to fight, trained to defend our constitutional rights, and but when you're out there and you're actually in war, it's a different story because you get much, much closer to all your Marines. You know, I had Marines in my platoon that were 17, 18, 19 years old. I was the oldest. I was 25, 26 years old. And it's a different show out there. It's, you know, everyone was really worried about, am I going to go back home? And I would tell them, you're going to go back home. In the Marine Corps, dead or alive, you're going to be home, I promise. And that's the way it was. That was the mentality back then. And I think it still is. You know, we'll leave no one behind. And that's the Marine Corps motto. You know, we're going to make definitely sure win this war and come back home.
We got a couple of minutes, but I just want you to just ride the range free. Just tell people, what would you like people to know about you and your civilian service when you migrated back?
Well, this is what I got to clearly say is that in the courtroom, there's going to be winners and non-winners. And I just hope that they understand my position. I do it from the heart. I do it very to the point where, you know, the evidence is there. I just want to say to everyone there that I do everything from my heart, and it is about the people I represent. And whatever is needed, I do to the best of my abilities. And it is only for the citizens of Nueces County, the city of Corpus Christi. And I thank everyone. It's been a beautiful, beautiful job that I have here. And like I said, my main core in life is taking care of veterans, taking care of the senior citizens, and our children here in Nueces County.
I think the most dangerous and powerful man is a man who won't give up, who has resolution, who it may have taken half a dozen times to pass the military ASVAB test, who may have had to re-educate himself from the beginning and had to run for campaign 3 times to finally get on this bench. And I thank you for your service. We've got a minute left, and I do not want to talk politics. I just want to have you, what would you like to tell the public out there for our children and our veterans and the elderly in the last 30 seconds we have?
Well, if there's anything that's needed in my courtroom, please do give me a call, 361-888-0201. I'm a humble person. I do what's right. I do it with the firm level of answering up to whatever's given to me. But just like you said, Joe, I don't give up. I've never given up since I was a young child, growing up in Corpus Christi. Now I am I'm a justice of the peace of my jurisdiction here in Nueces County. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this.
Judge Joe Benavides, Precinct 1, Place 1. We are very fortunate to have him. We're out of time. Bill is telling me that the camera's smoking and everything is going crazy. The bells are, but we're out of time. But I thank you all, and I thank you, Judge, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for serving.
Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Thank you, and we're out of time. Thank you all, and God bless.